Hello and welcome to Full Throttle. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. So my first question is, uh, w tell everybody who you are and everything, and then we'll jump into questions.
All right, sounds good. My name is Brian Benedict. I'm the driver of the Mishtex Motorsport Sports number five. I race in the Samson Performance Restoration Regional Legacy Series in Texas, Florida, and Alabama.
So Brian, I think I said that name right,
That's
but
right.
uh, so. Tell tell us a little bit about what you love about racing.
That's a great question. Um, I grew up in racing. My dad was a race car driver too. So when I was a kid, he was my biggest hero. And I just grew up loving racing and everything about it. As I became an adult, I just really loved the idea that you're never going to know all of it. And there's always more to learn, and you can always be better at so many different aspects of it. You can work at chassis setup for a lifetime, engine performance, even just the aspect of working with sponsors and people is something that you could work at for a lifetime and always get better at. So it never gets old, it never gets boring, and there's just so much to it that makes it a challenge. And I love that about it.
So tell 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 me, Brian, what we do at Full Follow is kind of dive into your history. So tell tell me a little bit about why you kind of got into racing, who you look up to, and why you look up to them.
Sure. So, you know, when I was a kid, of course, I looked up to my dad. He was my biggest hero, and there were others too when I was a kid in Michigan. I grew up primarily going to Flat Rock Speedway, but a lot of speedways in that region. And the my dad, Ben Benedict, the Joy Fairs, the Dave Colemans, just watching a lot of the late model drivers and just the different names that would come through there was just fantastic. I was really fortunate enough to be able to start racing myself when I was 10 years old. I got started in go-karting like a lot of race car drivers do, just to see if it's something they're going to stick with and work at and be good at. And I've been racing ever since. And I've met a lot of people along the way that I've looked up to for different reasons. I've raced road course series and, gotten a lot of tutelage from people like Grant Baker. I've raced on dirt, and I've worked with a lot of really cool and knowledgeable people in different dirt series. The Patterson family is one that's always helped me, and it's just really cool being on the phone and talking with somebody about, chassis dynamics and things like that. I really respect how much work they put into that. And then on asphalt oval racing, there's just so many knowledgeable people that I look up to that have helped me, like Chris Davidson, who just have so much knowledge. You could literally sit there and talk to these people for weeks and months on end and never talk about the same thing twice. It's just been a fantastic journey, and there's just so many great people in the sport.
Yeah, so tell tell my viewers what your goals are for this coming year.
Sure. So this year is really exciting. Um, the series that I'm racing in, we're going to be at 6 different tracks. This series really, about 3 years ago, they only had 1 or 2 tracks that they raced at, and the car count was fairly low. So we worked really, really hard to grow a regional series, work with some tracks to add them to the schedule and kind of expand, our footprint and where we're going to race. So we'll be back at Houston Motorsports Park, which is kind of has always been the staple racetrack for this Legacy Series. We'll be back at Mobile International Speedway, which has also been a long time um, date on our schedule for years now. We're welcoming back Five Flag Speedway, which is the home of the Snowball Derby and just an amazing facility. We love racing there. And then we'll be back at Montgomery Motor Speedway, which is a historical track and just fantastic facility, a lot of fun that we have there. But we're welcoming 2 new tracks too, in Sunny South Speedway, in Grand Bay, Alabama, and then also Freedom Factory in Bradenton, Florida. So we're very excited to go to some of these new tracks, um, get to race all over. It's a lot of races. It's 10 or 11 different race weekends, and we have a really big field now. And we'll have 20 or 30 cars at some of these races, which is what it's all about. Everybody dreams about racing at you know um, these bucket list tracks in a big field of cars with a lot of competitive people and just having a bunch of fun. So that's kind of the goal this year is just to enjoy it. We've worked really hard to get the series to this point, and now I think it's just time to all get out there and race and enjoy it.
Yeah. So, yeah. One more question before I let you go, and
Sure thing.
that is, who are your role models in racing?
Uh, you know, I always I always looked up to different drivers for different reasons. When I had a role model, it was someone like Rich Vogler, um, who was always working on his car, and he was just a great driver. He was kind of a one man band. Any driver. Mark Martin used to do that a lot at some of the short tracks, to show up and work on his car a lot, and any driver that really understood that driving is really only about 5% of the whole effort, and that 95% of it is all the shop work, all the adjustments, all the information collection, and all the learning. That's someone who was kind of a role model for me, and people that collect that information and then do something really positive with it, like teach somebody else who's coming up in racing, help some of these other drivers that um, you know, maybe don't know as much, but they're showing the effort, and they have the work ethic. That's how we make the sport grow. And those are always the people that I have and always will look up to. So it's kind of a theme.
Well, thank you for coming on Full Throttle tonight, and we will see you guys in the next episode. On
Thank you for
behalf
having
of
me.
Full Throttle, thank you for coming on, man, and I look forward to seeing how your year goes. This has been
Uh,
Full Throttle with KP. Goodbye, everyone.